Brand new research from Barna shows a shocking resurgence in church attendance among millennials and Gen Z. Now, the statistics are wildly encouraging. So to help us break it down, I'm joined by CBN's Billy Hallowell. Billy, what do these statistics say?
I mean, it's kind of wild. The statistics are telling us something that we've had reverberations of. We've sort of had a lot of conversation about young people becoming more faithful, coming back to faith. We have a new film at CBN, Revival Generation, that shows what's been happening on college campuses. But these numbers solidify that it's not just people saying, young people saying, hey, I'm more interested in God. For the first time in decades, we're seeing that Gen Z and millennials are now the most regular churchgoers. So that means that young people who for a long time were dismissed as being not devout, not caring about faith, confused, lost, they are more likely than the general church, Christian American to be going to church regularly. They're surpassing older generations, and those older generations have traditionally been the ones that have higher church attendance. So it's like this inversion right now, and young people are flocking towards the truth.
I have opinions about why that's happening, but let me read you one statistic from the official press release. This is incredible. The frequency of church going for millennials and Gen Z has nearly doubled in 5 years, rising from approximately 1 weekend per month in 2020 to nearly 2 in 2025. One more line, because this is just incredible. I'm so encouraged. Daniel Copeland, Barna's vice president of research, said, quote, "It's typically older adults who are the most loyal churchgoers. This data represents good news for church leaders and adds to the picture that spiritual renewal is shaping Gen Z and millennials today." So, Billy, what do you think is driving this?
Yeah, I think this has been the big question, right? And I think if we look at what's been happening culturally, politically, socially, it's all tracking. There's been this sort of wake up that's happened, this mass awakening of people realizing that they need something bigger than themselves. And that has manifested itself in some more troubling ways in terms of people going to the occult or going to other belief systems. But the point is they're doing that because they believe something is bigger out there. This lie that they can make up their own morals, they can make up their own values, that relativism is the way to live. There's an awakening that is not only not true, but it's damaging and it's dangerous and it's problematic. And so we now have this young generation brought up on all this technology, all these lies, all these distractions, and they are desperately seeking the truth because there was nothing fruitful in any of that. And so I really believe that's why we're watching this young, cohort turn back to faith and seek out that truth. So it's actually a really, really exciting time that I couldn't have even predicted a year or two ago.
I think, okay, here's my opinion. I think us older millennials, say 15, 20 years ago, whatever, 10 years ago, our churches were so geared towards making it cool, making it relevant, lasers, smoke screens. And I think what got lost in that is that it's like a lion, just like unlock the cage and let him do this thing. You don't have to make all this fluff. And it was an exciting chapter, I guess, in church history, where it was like going to this rock concert and celebrity pastors. But what I think is really encouraging is that young people are like, listen, I am so inundated with dopamine on Instagram and just a constant stream, like hit me with the truth. And actually God brought me to James 4. I think this is what's happening. It says, come near to God and he will come near to you. Like, yeah. No sugarcoating. Wash your, and then it's like, all right, well, like, just give it to me. Just what's the Bible say? It's like, all right, wash your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Like, I feel like this is like a James moment where James kind of like smacks people across the face. It's like a little harsh. I feel like that's what people want. They're like, what does it say? What is truth? Tell me where to look. I like, what do you have to offer? Like, stop with the like filtration system. Like, just give it to me. What is the gospel? And when you allow the Bible to speak for itself, it is alive. It is active. It is sharper than any two-edged sword, and it pierces you, man. And so I think when I go to church now, I'm seeing uh, um, a renewal of let's worry less about our relevance and more about are we allowing the are we comfortable enough to allow the Bible to convict someone? Are we comfortable enough letting the Bible speak for itself? And I feel like there is this the after this whole deconstruction phase where it's like, what is church? Am I just going to some like kind of performance? Where now that destruction wave has kind of gone down. Now it's like reconstructing. Okay, but hold on. What is truth? What is real? What does the Bible say? And I feel like if you just let the pages of Scripture speak for themselves, it will knock you out and God will do something incredible. And I think that's what's happening. So Billy, I'll give you the last word, my friend.
Yeah, and I think it also helps that we just went through COVID in 2020 and 2021, depending on where you lived, all the way through who knows when. And all the effects of that, the refusal to allow people to question things, right? All of these things, that sort of the restriction of speech, not just with COVID, but other things as well. And I think when you take all of that and you put it together, you end up in this situation where people are then asking, well, what, like you were saying, what is the truth? So you've had this really interesting sort of like theological, cultural, political, social coming together where asking questions is suddenly the thing that we should be incentivizing people to do. And people are recognizing it's a bad thing to shut down that speech. And that really opens up, I think, a lot of young people to wanting to find the missing piece that they know in their heart has been there. So I'm excited about where we are, and people should definitely check out the Revival Generation too, which they can do on the CBN Family app, which tells the story of really what is happening on so many college campuses around the country right now.
Billy, this is like the third video in a row that I said I'd give you the last word, but then God had one more thing that I thought about. I think what it is like at the end of the day, this is true. Like I like not like true for you. Like this is true. And I think like, there's all this, I think of like biblical archaeology. People like, those people didn't exist. It's all fairy tales. God's like, well, then dig right there. Science is like, oh, the universe has always existed. And God's like, no, I'm in the beginning. God created the heavens and the earth. And then we find out, wow, the universe began. And so what I think is this beautiful thing is like the more that the world says, well, the time of Christianity is over. God is dead. It's like, but if it's true, it's not going to be ever dead. And so I think all these people are trying to, bury this book 6 feet under. And God's like, yo, guys, listen, check it out. I defeated death, And so I think you're just seeing the truth, capital T, flex. I don't think you can hold it down. And I think no matter how much you try to pigeonhole it, the truth is going to prevail. And I think that's what's happening right now. Billy, my friend, I appreciate your time, my brother.
Thank you.